Hello YouTube, this is Macro Owner. I'm going to do a technical video on AR. There isn't going to be any shooting. This is going to be an AR-40 Smith & Wesson pistol caliber. It's put together as a carbine with a 16-inch barrel and a carbine stock. So as far as for video, YouTube made some changes a while back. I'm not completely up to speed on what their child requirements are, so if you're under 18, please leave. So I think that will suffice as a notice that this video is not for children. It is also not for violent people that want to hurt others. You can take a hike, and but if you're looking for something more of a technical video, that's what this is for problem solving, an 80% build on the 40 Smith & Wesson type. So I'm going to start out with problems that I have, and there was a multitude of problems. So first up is my barrel. I have a Chinel match grade barrel. See if I can get the video where, there we go. Okay, so I got a Chinel match grade barrel. I had to ramp the front. Yeah, it's like I'm out here too much light or something. But I had to ramp the front in order to get it to feed. I'm using cast lead bullets, and those cast lead bullets were going into the chamber and getting stuck. I mic'd them, and they were coming out at the proper size, so they're not oversized. To correct that, I ended up shortening the overall length of the cartridge from over 1.12 down to right about 1.0. So it's about 1/8 of an inch drop in overall length. I had to push the barrel forward a little bit. You can see it right there. Because without doing that, I was jamming the noses of the cartridges straight right into the end of the barrel on a pretty high percentage, even after shortening. So thereby, that's also why I did the ramping. So I have a pistol lower. It should take 9, 40, 357 SIG, and 45 automatic. My magazines were sticking horribly into the mag well, so I had to open up the rear and the side with hand files. Without doing that, the mags were getting so stuck, I could literally have to, with an empty magazine, put the rifle on the ground, step on it with both feet, and or at least one foot, and pull it with both hands in order to get the magazine out. It was just insane. So I had to hand file that done. Another problem that I had was back here where the buffer tube is. There's this little detent. I had an Anderson, lower parts kit. That little detent is already broken, so I'm going to have to get another one. It will no longer retain the buffer in there. And the ejector, I don't like this ejector style. It's soft metal. See right here, it's soft metal. You can bend it around, which is nice in a way that you can do that in the field, so it'll bend rather than break. But if it's not bent in the right spot, that doesn't do you any good, because the shells are not ejecting out of the chamber. So then you'll have, 2 shells, maybe one of them stovepiped up in the air, getting stuck. I had a couple of them that were stuck into the groove where the bolt handle goes, in between that and the bolt face, and the bolt was all the way rearward, and I just had hell getting that out when I was out shooting. It was awful. So the angle of this is pretty doggone important. So that's that. Let's see, let's go on the bolt. My bolt, I believe, also was United Defense. The extractor, I don't like the extractor on it. It just doesn't positively grab the rear of the casing as well as it should. It's able to let go before it hits the ejector, and then you have a casing that is, it bumped into the next bullet that is coming out of the magazine, and then you have it, instead of kicking out of the receiver, it's stuck into the chamber area and causing a variety of jamming problems, including getting stuck between the ejector and the wall of the upper receiver, either at the top or the side, and either one of them suck. The top is definitely the worst. So I really don't care for that. Now let's see. Let's see. I did that. So magazines. So I've got a variety of magazines that I got from Classic Arms. And Classic Arms, when I was a FFL dealer, they were a good supplier of mine. I've used them for, I don't know, since before 2000. And, you know, they've always been good. And these magazines are only like 13 bucks a piece for high caps. It's pretty good. But a number of issues with this particular magazine. So if you look where the bullet is there, I had to adjust the ends of the lips for the magazine in order to match the angle of the bullet that is in there, or the casing rather. If I didn't, they'd be poking up too much or sitting down too low, and either one of those things were causing problems. The width of the magazine itself I've found to be, how should I say this? They are not uniform in size on the outside diameter. So some of these magazines have some real problems getting stuck until I opened up that other area, but that told me part of the problem that I was having was that these magazines are not uniform in size on the outside, and it was contributing to really getting magazines stuck in the receiver. Other problems with these magazines is that the internal springs, I took these magazines apart, the internal springs were, instead of being all the coils in a straight line, so to speak, they were like twisted around at weird angles that were inconsistent, and I had to physically take them and bend them back into a correct line, and then they seemed to feed okay. So you know, nothing against Classic Arms, but that's a real problem. And the other problem on those magazines that I also encountered was because of that spring. I know it was because of that spring. The follower would not rise up, so you had a problem with both loading. They seemed like they were over tensioned because they're getting stuck on the side of the material on the inside, right? Not the bullet, but the springs are grabbing the body, kind of. And then as the follower is coming up, supposed to be feeding ammunition, the follower would stop moving even under a load. So the follower would stop moving, and now you would have bullets that were not in the position they should be to feed the weapon. So they're either too low, or the nose is pointed down, or a variety of things, and they were all caused by that spring in the feed mag lips. So I had to do that. So honestly, I'm thinking, I've heard other people say this too, original Glock mags are probably the way to go. I've not ever owned any, but I'm thinking that's probably what I want.